Good morning, guys. So welcome back, and for those of you that are new here, welcome. So this is a little update podcast. As you can see, I am still working on my second mitered square blanket. This is one that I started during that tutorial that I did, so I could show you guys how I started my first one. And I have been flabbergasted at the response. I didn't expect so many people to be watching those tutorials. It's a 3-part tutorial. And so I did 3 separate videos, and the response has been really overwhelming, guys. I couldn't believe it's already gotten, I mean, I haven't even looked lately, but I know it's gotten over 1,000 views on the first video, and parts 2 and 3 are getting up there. But anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying making your blankets. If any of you found me through those tutorials, welcome. I will be doing other tutorials as well. Just let me know down in the comments if there's anything else that you guys want to learn how to do, and I'd be happy to make tutorials on it. Right now, this is a tricky part. I'm to where I'm trying to knit into my first little cast on edge for this square. And I showed you guys how to do this, so in those tutorials. But I'm adding some height to the edge of my blanket, so I actually cast on some stitches and then picked one up right here in the center of this one, and then picked up along this edge. So we're getting another row going here. But so yeah, it gets a little tricky sometimes, especially if I'm trying to talk at the same time. But guys, so much has happened lately. Wow, I don't even know where to start since my last episode. I know I shared with you guys that Chase, my rescue pup Chase, my blue heeler, Australian cattle dog. They've got so many names for them, but he's hanging in there. As you guys saw in my intro to this video, we just played a little bit in the front yard this morning, but he is still taking steroids daily, and they've got him on another med right now for his gallbladder. Most of his other levels were looking better, but they still think he's going to have to probably do steroids for the rest of however long he has. And if you did miss that previous video, feel free to go watch it, but the vet thinks he's got lymphoma. So not a good prognosis, but we're hanging in there and we're taking everything one day at a time. I have a road trip coming up on Sunday. My son has been with me for 3 months for the summer. And so, yeah, it's time for him to go back to college. And all of this just seemed to happen right around the time that we need to leave. So it's been a little overwhelming, a little stressful, but we're getting there. We're getting through it. With Chase's diagnosis, and then 3 weeks ago I tested positive for COVID, so that's another reason that I haven't been doing these podcasts recently. So I'm on the mend, feeling much better now. I'm still a little congested. You can probably hear that in my voice. But that said, while I've been going through my downtime, I have been doing so much knitting and crochet, guys. So I am going to share what I've made with you over the last couple of weeks. Just thought I would kind of start this video out as a Wip'nChat so that I could work on my blanket and update you guys on what's been going on. So I think I'm going to get to the end of this row, and then I'm going to go take a shower and come back and show you guys Hi, Dino. Show you guys what I've been up to. Let's see if it'll focus on Dino. Hi, Dino. Where's Mommy? Hey, Dino, what's this? Hi. Say hi to everybody. This is my other little pup, Dino. Got him from the shelter as well. He loves laying in the sun. I really had to be careful and watch him this summer because it got so hot here, and he would go outside and lay on the patio when it was 120 degrees out. And that's not good. But, so yeah, I didn't let them stay out very long. This summer has been a scorcher, record-breaking temperatures. I'm in the Las Vegas Valley, so I think it actually got up to 124 one day. But thankfully, this past few days have really cooled down, and we have been like in the upper 80s, possibly low 90s during the day. And we've actually been getting down into the 60s, and I think maybe even down to 58 at night occasionally. So that was good. Or that's been good. I think the day that I take my son back, the day that we leave, Sunday, I think it's going to start warming up again, so it may be hot when I get back. We'll see. I will do another podcast when I return. I may film a little bit while I'm traveling because I'm taking the dogs with me. Hopefully Chase will be okay. Let me take you guys off my tripod real quick here and show you. He's laying right here next to me right now. Yes, he is. So he's laying next to me, and little Dino is over here. Right, Dino? You guys ready for a road trip? You ready to go in the RV? So yeah, I've got an RV that I bought last year, so it'll be fun. I've got to get some knitting packed up, and maybe I'll show you guys what I'm taking on the road with me too. Because after I drop my son off, I'm going to probably take it slow and take a couple of days coming back. And maybe take a book with me and my knitting. Let me go drink my coffee, take a shower, and then I'm going to show you what I've been up to. All right, I am back, showered, and I feel much better. So I have been doing a ton of knitting and crochet because while I had COVID, I laid on the couch and I watched YouTube and I did some reading, and I've been working on finishing up a bunch of whips that I had going. Let me show you what I've got. So in some previous videos, I think I showed you some little granny square baby blankets that I was working on. I've actually finished all 3 of them. So here's the first one. And I'm going to go ahead and stand up and show you what I did. And each one is just about a 36-inch square. So yeah, that's what I usually do when I do baby blankets. I like to do like a yard square. So that is number 1. And I pretty much used the same yarns in all 3 of them. So they're all sort of coordinating. And I've been trying to use up my acrylic stash. I don't really buy it anymore, but you know how it is when you've stashed acrylic over the years. And I think acrylic makes good baby blankets because it's washable and very durable. So here is blanket number 2. And I can't remember if I had finished any of these previously, but this one I did a little differently. Like I said, they all have the same colors in them pretty much, but I just did the striping a little different in each one. So I alternated colors on the border for this one to give it a bolder border. blanket number 2. This one is super soft. This center square, I think it's a thicker yarn, that's for sure. Some kind of a boucle yarn. And so I did the border in the thicker boucle as well, just to give it some balance. But this is, and it feels like the holes are bigger on this one too, because I think this yarn that I used was a lighter weight baby yarn for this light blue. But that's the third one. I think granny squares are really nice and comforting to work on. A nice mindless crochet project. So while I was down and on the couch, I really didn't want to be focusing on patterns and trying to do anything really complicated. So got those 3 blankets done. And then I don't even know where to start, guys. Let's see. For some reason, I've really been into crochet lately. And I know this is more of a knitting channel, but I do have mostly crochet. So in a previous podcast, I had actually shared that I was working on this bandana, and I got it completed, and I don't think I ever shared it with you guys. But I used a cotton yarn, and let me just show you how it turned out. I'm not going to tie it right now, but yeah, pretty satisfied with that. I can use this when I'm out working in the yard to keep my hair back or doing housework or whatever. But that is my cotton headband bandana type thingy. I'd just been kind of wanting to make one lately, and so I did. Let's see, next project. Let's talk about some little looms. I picked this up at Daiso not too long ago, and it is actually, you can interchange the pieces and make it bigger. They just snap together. If you guys don't have a Daiso where you are, I'm not sure, but you might be able to order from their website. But this was super cheap, guys. And I know you probably seen those other plastic looms that they sell at craft stores, but this does the trick, and it is exactly the same concept. But what I used this for, if you saw the shape I had it in the beginning, the small shape. Let me show you that again. Actually, I think let me use the one that's a little more curved, because this is the one I'd been working on. So you just snap them together. And if you guys watched, I can't remember which podcast it was, but I shared in one of my podcasts that I collect dolls. Now, I collect BJDs, which are ball jointed dolls. I collect smart dolls and Blythes. So I'm going to show you a couple of my Blythe dolls right now, because I have knit a couple of sweaters for them recently, and I used this to make some little hats. So with this loom, I was able to get this little beanie. Now, I could have done it on regular needles as well, but you know, sometimes I just need a change, and I wanted to do something different. So I made a ton of these little beanies. My ring just popped up on my camera and said that I had motion at my front door, so making sure it wasn't the Amazon guy, because if it was, the dogs would probably go crazy. But we'll see if we can get through this video. Anyway, so let me show you these little beanies that I made. and then I'm going to show you what they look like on the dolls. So yeah, I got about 5 little beanies out of one skein, and then I used a second skein and made an adult size one with the same yarn. And this is just a basic 2x2 rib that I did on my regular knitting needles. Like I said, some mindless knitting. So I completely used up all of this yarn that I had. I've been trying to stash bust lately, and I'm doing a pretty good job of it. So I have this beanie and the little matching hats for the dolls. Now the striping is totally different on these, and that's because the circumference was smaller, which made the striping bigger, like taller. And each hat turned out a little bit different because of the placement of the stripes. But let me show you, let me set most of these aside and just grab one of my dolls that I've got right here and show you what it looks like on them. Now, I don't know if any of you watch Arne and Carlos videos, but they also collect Blythe dolls, and they're knitwear designers as well. So this is a Blythe doll. And I recently bought her at BlytheCon here in Las Vegas. And if you see, she's wearing a little sweater. I actually knit this sweater using a pattern that Arne and Carlos have. I modified it slightly, and I made it a little bit longer than their pattern calls for, and I made the neck a little bit shorter. But I thought it was adorable. So if you guys haven't seen Arne and Carlos videos, I will link them down below in the description, and I will link their video where they talk about knitting these sweaters for the Blythe dolls. But I knit this sweater for her, and let me show you what this little beanie looks like on her. So and get it on. Guys, isn't that cute? So adorable. Little slouchy hat. Okay, and then I also have one more doll that I was going to show you. And right now he's wearing a bucket hat that I bought at BlytheCon for him. But I also knit his sweater using Arne and Carlos pattern. And as you can see, it's a little different from hers. I just didn't make the neckline as tall at all. I just kind of stopped right at the shoulders, at the top of the shoulders, making it more of a, like a boat neck maybe. But these are raglan style, and I used 2 different weights of yarn. They're both wool. Okay, we're gonna try a beanie on him too that I knit with my loom. We're just gonna have fun with dolls today, huh? I wonder if Arne and Carlos will see this. If you guys do watch this, I love your videos, and I think it's amazing that you guys also collect dolls. The Blythes especially. Look at that. Look at that little beanie. So cute. All right, I'll probably knit some regular hats for them too, just using my regular needles, but I thought it would be fun to dig out my looms and use them. All right, let me set the dolls aside and we will keep going with our finished projects. Okay, speaking of looms, I want to show you something that I just decided I wanted to get off of a loom and not complete. Do you guys ever start something and then it turns into something completely different? Well, I had this boucle yarn. This is probably a Lion Brand homespun, and it was on one of the regular knitting looms that you get at the craft store, and it was about 20 inches long, I guess, by whatever this width is right here. You can see it was going to be a scarf, but guess what it turned into? It turned into a slouchy beanie, because I decided I didn't want to keep knitting it into a scarf and I didn't want to frog it. So I cast it off the needle, or off the loom. I seamed the ends up. I folded it in half, seamed the ends together, ran a strand of yarn around the opening at the top, cinched it closed, picked up stitches around the other open side, and knit 2x2 ribbing. And literally turned it into a slouchy beanie. So sometimes you might start knitting something or making something on a loom and then decide you don't want to complete it. Instead of frogging it, why not turn it into something else? And this was just, you know, I thought, hey, I wonder if I could turn that into a hat, and I did. So yeah, I actually kind of like it. So that was interesting. That was just a whim, spur of the moment project, and I think it turned out pretty cute. So that's another finished object. Got it off of the loom. So, whew, let's see. We've got 3 more things that are crocheted, and one thing that I made that my mom sent me. She sent me, well, she didn't send it to me, but she sent me a reel on Instagram on how to make little pumpkins out of a toilet paper roll and yarn and a stick. Guys, look at this. Look at this adorable little pumpkin. And it's made from cutting a toilet paper roll in half and then wrapping the orange yarn through the center and around all the edges until you fill it up. And then you go out in your yard and you find a stick and poke it down in the center, and you've got a little pumpkin. Look how cute. We could have a display of dollies with their pumpkins. Yeah, I like to have fun, guys. I do. I like to have fun. But no, you could use this for fall decor, Halloween decor. But I thought that was ingenious. And I've got some toilet paper rolls laying around that I hadn't thrown away yet, so I thought I'm going to try that. Another use of my acrylic yarn to get rid of it. All right, let's set her down again. I thought I was done with the dolls, but that also makes a great segue into the next item that I crocheted. And I am not one for making many stuffed animals or amigurumi. Is that how you say it? But my son loves Hatsune Miku, and I don't know if you guys know who that is, but she's a Vocaloid, and I saw a tutorial or a pattern on Ravelry on how to make her. And here it is. This is Hatsune Miku Amigurumi, and I made her for my son, so he's going to be taking her back to college with him. Like I said, we're leaving on Sunday, so I want to get this video up before we leave. But yeah, this was not as difficult as I thought it would be to make. And she's got all kinds of details. You start out with the body and work your way up from the feet. And then you just crochet on all the other pieces. And yeah, I think she turned out adorable. So I may have to make some more. Maybe different characters, I don't know. But that is Hatsune Miku, and I need to give her back to my son so he can pack her up and get her ready to go back to college. And then a couple of other little amigurumis I've done. Like I said, I was laying on the couch and I kept seeing tutorials for these little loaf cats. Aren't they adorable? So I had this velvety yarn and I decided to try making one with it first. They're so squishy. This one's super soft just because of the velvety yarn. And it was a little more difficult to work with, so I don't know if I'll make any more with this yarn, but I might, because I do have quite a bit of this yarn in my stash, and I don't really know if I would be using it for anything else. I can't think of anything else, or I don't even know what I was going to use it for. But I had a bunch of these eyes because I bought a pack of these eyes to use with my emotional support chickens that I've made. And so I had a bunch of these eyes left over, and I thought, hey, I could use those for the little loaf cats. And then my son wanted one. Well, I asked him if he wanted one, and he chose blue. So I made his out of a worsted weight yarn held together, so it made it more of a bulky yarn. Since this velvety yarn seemed a little bulky, I decided to hold two worsted weights together and make this one more of a bulky weight as well. Now this little guy is squishy, but he's definitely not as soft because he's quite dense. It made him a stiffer fabric, and as you can see, I did the face a little different on him than I did on my original one, on the first one that I did. Let me know which face you guys like better, the blue one's face or the pink one's face. I'm not going to say what I prefer because I want to know what you guys think. But anyway, I thought I would try a couple of different faces on them. But he's also taking this guy back to college with him. And you can see he kind of crimped his tail to make it stand out like that. I didn't stuff the tail on this one, and I did stuff the tail on mine. So there's a YouTube tutorial that I used for these, and I will also link that down below. And in her tutorial, she said you don't have to stuff the tail, but you could if you want to. So I did one each way, and I think they're both cute. You can still bend this one a little bit, like, yeah. It just makes it a fatter tail, not as flat. You could actually squish this one into a different shape if you wanted to, though. All right, so we're getting through this. Oh my gosh, this might be a long video, guys, but we're almost done. I have two more stuffed items that I did, and have you seen those granny square chickens? Another tutorial I ran into on YouTube while I was on the couch. Look at how adorable these are. I just can't, guys. I'm gonna have to make more of these because I think they're so stinking cute. And all it is 2 granny squares sewn together, and then all you do is you crochet the top, the beak, and the tail, and then you add eyes. And like I said, I had eyes left over from my emotional support chickens. And if you guys haven't seen those videos, I've done several videos showing my emotional support chickens that I've completed. So go back and take a look at those if you want. But those videos ended up being super popular. I guess everybody was knitting emotional support chickens for a while, and they probably still are. So I don't know. I've thought about maybe crocheting one, but mine were knit, so I haven't tried the crocheted one. Oh, and then let me tell you about this, why there's 2 different sizes. It's the same yarn, same exact number of stitches, same pattern, but I used 2 different hook sizes, and I cannot for the life of me remember what hook sizes I used right now, but I think it was like 2 sizes down on this one. And yeah, which one do you guys think looks better? This one is softer because the stitches aren't as dense and tight, and this one is really firm and the stitches are really snug and close together, so the stuffing definitely won't come out of this one. But yeah, this one's squishy, and I think it's fine. You can see a little bit of the stuffing through some of the little spaces, but I don't think it's bad at all. But I think he's really cute, and I can't wait to make more with different colors. Okay, we are getting there, guys. We are almost done. I have an acquisition that I bought at Walmart, nonetheless. And I told you that I don't buy acrylic yarn anymore, but I lied, because I did decide to buy a couple of balls of acrylic yarn at Walmart the other day, and it was just because these were on sale for $3 each. And I thought they looked really interesting. But this is the Pioneer Woman acrylic yarn cake, and this one is called Brilliant Blooms. And I really like these colors, the teal and the coral colors. I recently moved here to the Las Vegas Valley in Nevada, and I don't know, it just kind of gave me Southwest vibes. And so I'm not sure what I'm going to make with these yet, but I bought 2 of the same color. So yeah, we will see how these work up. I might do a review on them in an upcoming video and let you guys know what I think. And what is it made of? I think it's all acrylic. Yep, material content is 100% acrylic. So yeah, occasionally I'll buy acrylic, I guess, so I shouldn't lie, should I? Alright guys, we are down to the last item, and I don't know if I'm forgetting anything, but like I said, with all the mindless knitting and crochet, I don't really have anything very complicated. Last but not least, we have the mitered square blanket that I've been working on, and I did a tutorial on how to make these. It's 3 videos on how to do this, but I have one that I've been working on for several years out of sock yarn, and I had been sharing it during a few of my podcasts, and I had some people ask me how to start these blankets. So I thought, you know what? Another use of my acrylic yarn would be to start one of these with my worsted weight acrylic yarns. And so far, every single square I've done is in a different color, because I'm going through my acrylic stash. We are stash busting the acrylics. And this is what I've got so far. And every single square is a different color. You saw me knitting on this one in the intro. Got it completed this afternoon. And yeah, these are really fun. So if you haven't seen the tutorial and you're interested in making one for yourself, I will also link that down in the description. All right, guys, I think that's actually going to be it for today. Hopefully I will be back soon. Like I said, I'm leaving on Sunday to take my son back to college. We're going to go in the RV. And so I need to get packed and get ready to do that. Tonight we're going to go to the mall and go down to Fremont Street. Just do a little shopping before we head out. And tomorrow night we're actually going to go down to MGM Grand and watch David Copperfield. So that'll be exciting. I have not seen David Copperfield's magic show in, gosh, I don't remember how long. It's been decades, dare I say. I can't remember how long ago. I went to one of his magic shows. I think it was when I still lived in Oklahoma, maybe in my 20s. So yeah, decades. But anyway, I remember his tickets back then cost like $40, and I thought that was expensive. Now his tickets are mostly over $100. I think we bought the very cheapest tickets they had right now, and they were about $80. So we're going to be in the back. But it's a small venue, I think. It's pretty small. So that'll be exciting, and it'll be a nice send-off to go shopping and go to a magic show before we head back to San Diego. So my next podcast will probably be next weekend. And I may do some videos in the RV, maybe after I drop him off. I'm going to probably take a couple of days to get there and a couple of days to get back, and then we'll be there unpacking all of his stuff. So yeah, I'm going to take my yarn with me. I'm taking a book. This is a new book that I picked up at Barnes & Noble a couple days ago. And do any of you recognize this name? Andrew McCarthy. Does anybody like Pretty in Pink? One of my favorite movies. Well, Andrew McCarthy has written some books recently, and I saw this at Barnes & Noble and had to pick it up. This is his son, Sam. So, a father, a son, and 500 miles across Spain. And guess what? It's like a memoir, but it's a signed copy, guys. Look at this. Let me show you his signature. Wow, I was excited to get this. So, yeah, I literally just started it. So, as you can see, I am in the very beginning. But I'm going to take this with me in the RV, so I'll have something to read. Yeah, and I'll be back home next weekend. Hopefully I'll get a video up then, get all the footage from the trip and any knitting that I do on the road. So look forward to that, guys, and I will see you all again in the next video. Happy knitting and crochet!